Have you ever looked up at a jet soaring across the sky and wondered,
In this day of jet, the 707
who built that incredible machine? Hey everyone, and welcome to another video. Today, we're taking a flight back in time to meet the man behind one of the biggest names in aviation, William Edward Boeing. From a surprising starting point, Boeing's vision and determination helped him build a company that would change the way we travel forever. This video will explore the remarkable journey of William Boeing. We'll uncover his early life, the key decisions that shaped his company, and the strategies that led Boeing to become the world's largest aerospace company. So get ready for a fascinating story of innovation and ambition. Humble beginnings. William Boeing's life unfolded across different places and careers. Born in Detroit in 1881, his father came from Germany and built a successful lumber business in the United States. Sadly, William lost his father at a young age and spent his childhood in Europe with his mother. After attending schools in Switzerland and the US, he started college at Yale but left to join the lumber business in 1903. Our story begins in the early 1900s, a time when airplanes were more like rickety contraptions than the soaring machines we know today. Enter William Boeing, a young man with a fascination for flight. Inspired by a Navy seaplane he saw, William, along with his friend George Westervelt, decided to build their own aircraft. Boeing's life took a turn in 1909 when he saw an airplane for the first time at an exhibition in Seattle. Fascinated by this new technology, he bought a boatyard the next year, which would later become his airplane factory. He even learned to fly himself in 1915 and purchased a seaplane. When this plane crashed, Boeing decided to build his own improved design. He partnered with others to design and build the B&W seaplane, making use of his existing boatyard facilities. This marked the beginning of his journey in aviation that would lead to the Boeing company we know today. From seaplanes to soaring high, building Boeing. The Boeing company started in Seattle, Washington in 1916. William A. Boeing, a businessman in the lumber industry, founded the company after he and Conrad Westervelt built a seaplane called the B&W. The company was originally called Pacific Aero Products Company, but it was renamed Boeing Airplane Company in 1917. Boeing hired its first engineer, Wang Tsu, in 1916. Mr. Tsu, who graduated from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, designed the Model 2 airplane, which was Boeing's first successful product financially. The United States entered World War I in 1917, and Boeing saw an opportunity to sell airplanes to the Navy for training purposes. This wartime demand provided a much-needed boost to the young company. The Navy liked the Model 2 and placed a large order, which helped the young company grow. Beyond the battlefield, expansion and innovation. After World War I, 1918, there were many cheap, used military planes available for purchase. This made it difficult for airplane companies to sell new airplanes, and some companies even went out of business. During this time, Boeing made furniture and boats instead of airplanes. Boeing also built new airplanes during this period. In 1919, the Boeing Model 6 flying boat started flying. It could carry a pilot, 2 passengers, and some mail. It was used for international airmail flights for 8 years. Another plane, the Model 8, made its first flight in 1920 and became the first airplane to fly over Mount Rainier. In 1923, Boeing competed against another company, Curtiss, to design a fighter airplane for the US Army. The Army liked both designs, so Boeing kept developing theirs. This led to a series of successful fighter jets, including the P-12, making Boeing a top fighter jet manufacturer for the next 10 years. In 1925, Boeing built the Model 40 mail airplane for the US government. An improved version, the Model 40A, came out in 1927 and won a contract to deliver mail between San Francisco and Chicago. This model could also carry 2 passengers. That same year, Boeing started its own airline, Boeing Air Transport. It merged with other companies a year later to form a bigger airline. Their first airmail flight happened in 1927. In 1929, Boeing became part of an even larger company, along with several other airplane-related businesses. In 1928, Boeing built its first airplane designed specifically to carry passengers, the Boeing 80 biplane. It had 12 seats and 3 engines. An improved version, the 80A, could carry 18 passengers and first flew in 1929. Building an empire, Boeing wasn't afraid to take risks. He understood that to truly control the aviation industry, he needed more than just aircraft production. In a strategic move, he acquired other companies involved in different aspects of aviation, such as engine manufacturers and airlines. In 1929, this strategy resulted in the formation of the United Aircraft and Transport Corporation, UATC. This massive corporation brought together various aviation businesses under one roof, creating a vertically integrated giant. UATC not only built planes but also operated airlines, providing a complete aviation ecosystem. In the early 1930s, Boeing revolutionized airplane design with its all-metal construction and focus on passenger comfort and safety. The monorail, built in 1930, was a pioneering all-metal plane with a sleek wing design, though its innovative features were limited by the engines of the time. Boeing continued this momentum with the P-26 Peashooter, the first all-metal monoplane fighter, in 1932. The following year, they introduced the game-changing Model 247 airliner. This faster, safer, and easier-to-fly plane, with its twin engines for redundancy, sets a new standard for passenger travel. Boeing's success led to a law change in 1934, forcing them to split into separate companies focused on airplanes, Boeing, Airlines, United Airlines, and other technologies, United Technologies. Despite this shift, Boeing kept innovating throughout the decade. They built the massive XB-15 bomber in 1934, launched the giant Boeing 314 Clipper flying boat in 1938, and introduced the world's first pressurized passenger airplane, the Model 307 Stratoliner, that same year. Challenges and legacy. A lasting impact. Boeing's journey wasn't without its bumps. The Airmail Act of 1934 forced UATC to split its airline operations from its manufacturing business. This was a setback, but Boeing persevered. He continued to focus on innovation, developing iconic aircraft like the B-17 bomber used in World War II, and the revolutionary 707 jet airliner that brought in the jet age. In the late 1940s and 1950s, Boeing was a busy company. They built military jets like the B-47 and B-52 bombers. They also used their own money to develop a prototype airplane called the 367-80. This plane eventually led to the creation of 2 other successful airplanes, the KC-135 Stratotanker, used for refueling, and the Boeing 707, a passenger jet. For a short time, Boeing wasn't able to sell any commercial airplanes for passengers. But by the mid-1950s, technology had improved, and Boeing was back in the game. They built one of the first guided missiles for defense. They also built a longer-range missile that could travel between continents. William Boeing passed away in 1956, but his legacy lives on. The Boeing company he founded is a global leader in aerospace, employing hundreds of thousands of people worldwide, from commercial airliners to military aircraft and space exploration technologies. Boeing continues to push the boundaries of aviation. In 1958, Boeing released the 707, America's first jet airliner. This put the United States in the lead of commercial jet airplane manufacturing. A few years later, they made an even faster version called the 720. Boeing also made small jet engines during this time. These engines helped Boeing expand beyond just building military airplanes. They started developing these engines in the early 1940s and made thousands of them before stopping production in 1968. Boeing's jet engines were even used in some pioneering applications, like powering the first turbine-powered helicopter and boat, the future uncharted skies. In the early 2000s, Boeing expanded by entering satellite communications through a purchase and moving its headquarters. However, the decade also brought challenges. The late 2000s saw new Boeing airplanes and a partnership for the Ares I rocket program. The company secured a large tanker contract in 2011, but also experienced a program cancellation by the military. Boeing expanded globally with a European factory in 2018. However, the COVID-19 pandemic brought significant job cuts and financial losses in 2020. The company then relocated its headquarters again in 2022 and faced further challenges in 2023 with an airplane incident and workforce reductions, while also acquiring a new electric air taxi venture. So there you have it, fans. The story of how a dream, a whole lot of hard work, and a dash of innovation turned a small company into the biggest aerospace company in the world. What do you think about Boeing's journey? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe the Giant Success Stories for more awesome content like this. Until next time, happy flying!